paid for product like, what am I trying to say? Max Fix Plus. And I only put shiny products on the lid at my age, because if you go up in here, it really highlights, it's a highlighter. It really highlights the drop of this brow bone skin. So I do try to get the inner corner real good for a highlighting product. Usually I go straight up and down, but because this will have a good bit of fallout. And then I'm also going to go right under the brow. Let's see if that kind of, it's kind of like a peachy highlighter. I don't know if y'all can see that good. Alright, and now I'm going to go back to the lid. You never want to press right down into a the loose pigment itself, or it will go everywhere, y'all. So it's going to kind of go right in here. Again, all the way in, maybe a little further in towards the nose, and all the way over the lid, and then again kind of just brushing out what's left over underneath the brow. And there's plenty. Look how much is left over, y'all. See how that's like a peachy highlight? Here. You could do 2 passes. This is just a regular day, so I'm not going to do that. It's enough that I'm using such a glittery product. So that, again, is Naked Cosmetics in Desert Sunset. So that's why it's peachy. It's sunset. Okay, and again, a large shader. Large flat shader is the way to put a shiny product on your lid. So now I'm going to go ahead and put a transition color, and I'm going to use my Buxom palette. Do y'all remember me making this? Go back and look at my Buxom video. Maybe I'll link that below. Maybe I'll go find that and link that below. But anyway, this is one of those that it's an empty palette, and you go and put your colors in, and I named all the palettes, but I'll just show you. I did a really basic, let me take this little brush out. I did a really basic color palette, because that's what you really use, isn't it? I have a highlighter, a transition color, a dark color, and then I have this kind of shiny lid color if I wanted it, and a kind of shiny darker color, and then an alternate color, which could either be a blue or a purple for me. Blue I like just because it's fun. Purple because I have green eyes, so we'll see if I use that today. So I've already done a highlighter, so I'm not going to use a highlighter, but I do need to use a transition color in my crease up to my brow bone, and I'm using a Sigma Large Fluffy E50. I never told y'all I'm so stressed, so y'all know that I'm singing, and it does stress me out because, you know, I want it to be good, and I want to make sure I remember my words and all of that. But also my dad, I was just told, is going to be getting out from the rehab center for COPD. He said that he can breathe without oxygen, which I'm not convinced that's a good idea, but we're going to do it. And he gets out on Wednesday before my conference. So I've got to line up having a caretaker, and I have been in touch with the gal and told her it could be any time, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, Dad's been off and on. At one point we thought he was dying and we were going to be doing hospice, and he started getting better, praise God. But then you have to figure out, okay, well then what are we going to do when he gets out? Because, you know what, I think I've been putting this in the wrong color. I have. I put this in the dark brown. That's okay. Now we just got to keep it there, though. But anyway, you got to figure out how you're going to care for him if you're a full-time worker like me. I can't care for my dad. I have to hire someone, and it's not paid for by insurance, so it's just a huge stressor for me, and it's really testing me of the Lord, trusting the Lord in this. I'm going to flip this over and use this lighter transition color like I should have. And I'm just going to go on the upper register now, the upper part of my brow, since I've already got the darker color in the crease, basically. Hey, that's one way to do that, by the way, because now look how it's nicely blending. That was a boo-boo, but it worked. And here's the other thing I've learned, y'all, with stresses in life. Life is short. It's not about living here anyway. And I'm just dabbing this off on my towel, because obviously you can wash this and it'll come off. But I've got to learn to trust the Lord. And so some of you may say, Beth, I thought you do. I do, but you're constantly tested in that, you know. Okay, so now I'm going to take, this is an E45 small tapered blending brush. And I'm going to go in this darker color here that's got some sparkle to it. I'm just going to go in the outer V, just the outer V. I always actually do one pass through just to blend it. I'm going to circle that out, and I'm going to make sure that I turn this brush as I'm out here. And I do want to blend that out a little bit. But I just don't want to lay any additional color is what I'm saying. Alright, so I come out here and make my little pass, and then I just kind of circle up right there, just kind of right into the skin. And see how that dropped down a bunch of color? Then I'm going to come down and make a V out of it, and then blend it back again. Okay. Then I'm going to take a blending brush. This is just a tapered blending brush. It's an E35 from Sigma. And I'm not going to actually have any product, even though it looks like it has product on it. I'm just going to blend out the front, make sure it doesn't look so dark right there. And then I'm going to blend the line between the brow bone and the crease and the outer edge. And that usually picks up a good bit of color, so from eye to eye, I wipe it off. So all I'm doing is blending the line. Don't over blend that area or you will just make it, you know, it'll blend all the colors so much that all the thing that you did to make it defined gets ruined. So, but this is kind of the color I was going for. So it's kind of a brown, kind of a desert brown look, a sunny brown look. Alright, and because of that, I think I'm going to use a cool tone. I think I am going to go ahead and use a short shader, which is an E20. And I'm going to use this purple color. Can y'all see? I can never tell if you can see this. I need to get me a monitor. You know, where a lot of times you'll see people looking off and they attach to their camera a monitor. I need to learn how to do that. And one day I might actually learn to edit. Okay, so I'm coming under the lash line with this purple. I'm going to do a darker color too, but this is going to add a color element, and purple is really good with green eyes because it really makes the green stand out. It also can make you look like you have red eyes, so you definitely have to use some black liner on your waterline, or you will look like you've just been crying. Do you see how it almost makes it look like I have red eyes? But see how that's really popping the green? Yeah. So I'm going to put on the top two. Now, I will end up lining over this. So this is, again, it's just going to make the eye, the green part of my eye really pop. And you won't even know why you feel that way. And then also today, as a liner, as a brow liner, I'm going to use my Old Faithful Almay Intense Eye Color Pencil in Raisin Quartz, which is 004. I think now they call it Black Raisin or Black Quartz. And I'm literally going to line, I know this is a purple, but you cannot tell, y'all. I'm going to line my brow with it. And I'm going to come up here and come back down. See, I want you to see how those are stroke marks. You certainly don't leave them that way. All right, see how now I've kind of got my brow built? Now I'm going to go back in and kind of fill that in with little stroke marks. But you got to make sure that you come back and go in between those so that it kind of fills it in. And I've built a brow now. Alright, so let's do this side. It's always hard, especially on camera, to get this right. So again, I'm going underneath to support the hairs that I actually do have. And a lot of people have lost hair even when you're younger. A lot of people shave it off so that they can rebuild it, which I don't recommend. You're going to regret that. Trust me, I know. I didn't ever shave mine off, but just your hairs thin out all over your head, and I think your brows do even more. Because all the products that we use have wax in them. Have you ever noticed how you get rid of brows? You wax. When you have a wax product, I think it does take the product off. Not by a yank. I just think the product itself does it. Alright, so now I'm coming back in again. Is that about right? I guess it's about right. I think so. I don't want to overdo the tail. I want to give it a tail, but I think sometimes you can overdo it with a tail. And this is not that precise of a product. It's a crayon. It's a roll-up crayon. But I love it because you can keep it in your purse and you can touch up and blah, 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 and blah, blah, and blah, 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 blah. Now we need a spoolie brush to brush that up, and I brush straight up. But try not to get out of the hairline, because what it will do is give you little brush marks above and below. So try to kind of stay right on that line. And what you're doing is destroying the line. There I will go down. But what you're doing is destroying the line. You're kind of demarking the where the lines were so it looks more natural. Do you see the difference in the two? I mean, obviously if it's a perfect brow, it's not natural looking, but it kind of gets rid of the harsh lines. Again, I'm brushing up, but don't get too low or too high because it will cause little brush marks. See, there's a little brush mark. And then here I will go down because that kind of does that one. Then I go back over that, come back up here. And again, brush straight up. You can even brush back in the opposite direction a little bit and it'll look a little more natural. And when you think, well, then you're leaving it up. When you make your expressions, your brows will come back down to a natural position. Okay, now I want to put on my liner, and I'm using my DHC EX liner, which is my favorite. Shake it up good. And instead of using this, I'll use my little brush so y'all can see better. This is an actual brush. It is not a felt tip, and it is so much easier to maneuver than a felt tip. I love this. Because I'm older, I start a little higher. See? Because that skin drops down, I start a little higher. Even though I've heard some, it was Wayne Goss, by the way. I wish I could talk to him live, but he did say that older women shouldn't wear a wing liner because of that. But you can, Wayne, you are the professional if you're watching my videos, which I know you watch for all of your tips to come to me. But you can make a wing liner. You just have to go higher. See how it's higher? Now, you don't have to come all the way in today. I'm going to go all the way down to the tear duct. And I'm done. Okay. Now, getting it even is difficult. So you kind of look at where did you start over here and try to do the same over here.